Wednesday, October 5, the time is 9:57. We have completed 2 work sessions, and now we turn to council time. As always, we begin with public comment, if there is any, on any agenda item that is before us on the council time agenda. So if anyone is either in the hearing room and wishes to speak and has let staff know, or star 3, or the raised hand icon to speak remotely. Staff, do you see anyone?
We do not have any individuals in the hearing room, but we do have 2 callers. So we can go ahead with those. Caller, you're unmuted, so please state your name and follow with your comments. Go ahead.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My name's Rob Anderson. I just want to make some few observations, and it's in
Rob,
connection
I
with the
can
jail
hear
services.
you, but just barely. If you could get a little closer to your mic and you'll have your full 3 minutes.
Okay, can you hold on just 1 second? So you can't hear me very well? Hello?
Hello?
We can hear you, but you are a little muffled on our end, so it's not clear.
Okay, how's that? Is that a little better? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I just want to make a few observations from yesterday's meeting, and it entails with the jail services that is on today's agenda. I appreciate the thoroughness of, for example, reviewing the library, capital bond, future road work, all that. I saw and heard staff projections, plans, timelines, and this, the public sees that diligent and what is really appropriate work. Yet we also see how different it is regarding the jail services, the way that was handled. As Councilor Medvedji stated, there was no timeline, no work session, no staff report, no budget impact, and all with very, very little public comment. Some might try to say that there's, misinformation or disinformation, but these are all facts of your actions or lack of due diligence, and most of all, lack of forthrightness to the public. The statements that I mentioned yesterday about, this is only the first step, and in particular, I think the most damning was when Councilor Rylander asked if, this was just basically going to go ahead and put together a plan so that when the new administration comes in, they would be able to hit the ground running. And Ms. Otto's response was yes. I just want to remind you of the code of ethics. One of them is honesty. Honesty means free from fraud and deception. Being honest means telling the truth, but also not withholding information in order to deceive or protect personal interests. It means being forthright. Now, I know that Ms. Otto, the county manager, is actually exempt. It's pretty amazing that the counselors and the employees are held to a higher standard than she is, but it's true. So really, one last thing, continuing to ignore this, hoping it'll go away, is not a good strategy. Public trust is all you have, and you are shredding it by improperly grabbing jail services without adequate public input, presented plan, impact, budget, all that stuff. Also, don't think that how the county manager bypassed equitable hiring processes won't end up costing the county taxpayers millions of dollars. And one last thing is, Councilor Medvedji, I hope that you'll consider clearing up or apologizing for your uninformed or intentionally, unintentionally misleading statements regarding the misnomer that the jail services will have elected supervision, will have better because of 5 elected. The council has 0 supervisory powers over the executive branch, including the county manager. So I hope that you'll reconsider and go on a completely different track. Thank you.
Caller, you're unmuted. Please go ahead and state your name and your comments.
My name is Kimberly Elbin, Clark County Life resident. Amen to Mr. Anderson and every word he said. The sidewalk and road in front of the very building you are in needs a major repair, which was not mentioned last month. Also, quite a few months ago, I found out that one of you council members had to have $50,000 thrown at you so you could see the river also view from the 6th floor. So I kind of resent that too. Also, I want to know where I can find the information from September 14th, 2022 to the public records, as we the people put some records in there and I can't find it. All of the documents, photos, and information that is put into the public records for this Board of Health must be available on site. Tell me where to find it in your information for September 14th. And this is a must-see for the citizens here in Clark County to watch September 14th Board of Health meeting. The city in which you work for has the mayor, the Vancouver City Council, and the city manager, which are 15-year members of the ICLEI, which is in the International Council for Local Environmental Initiatives. This United Nations City Council no longer follows the Constitution, the same followings that Mr. Anderson mentioned, or the will of the people. Their membership follows two agendas. These are two agendas that they are following, and so are you guys. Believe this or not, a one world order for our local government, in which you are implementing now, as mentioned earlier. And you can also see as evidence, this is to the citizens, to watch YouTube, Benjamin Barber, Why Mayors Should Rule the World. This city and your council also follow the second agenda, which is to depopulate the world. That's hard to believe and even to realize, and wait until the people find out. The citizens must wake up after our 2-year lockdown, sleep, and assemble as our forefathers did. In fact, stand now for our First Amendment and our Second Amendment rights. As this council has already attacked our First Amendment rights, as mentioned on record on September 14th, and brought to light in yesterday's Clark County Council meeting, when the chair passed over the fact that the public was supposed to speak, and she fumbled and had nobody, which a lot of people aren't paying attention, but we are coming alive now. Thank God for that. But the Vancouver City Council has effectively taken our First Amendment rights by not, for one example, having CVTV record the citizens as we speak to the people that we need to educate, because our local government is not. You are following. Anyway, but as I witness here in the local government,
And your time is up, ma'am. I will need to inform
plan to
the
take God out of our
citizens who have
families. I
heard
hope you
your
meet your maker
comments.
soon.
And if you would please mute that microphone. I would need to inform the citizens who have heard everything that you have said regarding ICLEI or ICLEI relative to Clark County is totally and completely irrelevant. The reason being that I checked yesterday with our people who oversee all expenditures of the county, and there has never been a payment from Clark County to ICLEI or to the United Nations. So that is completely irrelevant. If there are nearby governments that have, that is not relevant to Clark County. So that should be completely ignored, because there is no effort by Clark County to follow the principles that have been outlined there or are outlined on the ICLEI website. Thank you for that, and we do not want to hear any more in the future about membership of Clark County in ICLEI, because it simply is not true. Are there any additional members of the public who wish to speak?
No, Chair, that was it.
Okay, thank you. We will move now to old business. Is there a motion for approval of the minutes of September 28?
Motion to approve, Madam Chair.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. And any comments for additions, edits, changes, anything? And hearing none, they stand approved as drafted. Thank you very much. Jail updates. Kathleen
Yes,
Otto.
good morning. Thank you, Chair, and good morning, Council. Just a few updates for this morning on the jail. We are working on internal and external websites. The external one should be out today. Internal as well, that's one thing that Amber and Will have heard during their listening sessions, is a central location for information. The first thing that we're going to be posting on this website, both external and internal, are questions and answers. I was hoping to have this done by this morning, but we do actually value and listen to the community and questions that they have. So I have added some questions and answers so that we can get that information out so that the public has actual information and real information. They have been sent to the sheriff this morning as well. I have a couple more tweaks, so hopefully by midday or mid-afternoon, those will be posted. Included in the questions and answers, we also included a way to contact us for feedback from the community, questions, and we'll update that questions and answers and put the date on which it's updated in the future. But the email address that has been set up is ccjail, as in Clark County Jail, so ccjail@clark.wa.gov. We will be monitoring that regularly, and like I said, we'll respond when appropriate and answer questions publicly if it's appropriate as well. And then the other piece, I know Will and Amber will be doing listening sessions, I believe later this morning with the Support Guild. It's not as defined as corrections is because they do support all branches in the sheriff's office. But this is just the first conversation that they will be having, just to listen and answer questions from the Support Guild. And I think that is all the feedback that I have today. Amber, is there anything else that I have missed that you want to share?
No, you hit all the highlights. Thank you.
Question, please. And that is, where specifically on the page, the website page for Clark County, will the jail update be posted?
I believe the link is going to be on the home page. It is not out there yet, and that should be out there on the main home page, like I said, hopefully by mid-afternoon. But we just have a few additional things that we want to add and clarify on the questions and answers before we make that public.
So it will be on the home page for clark.wa.gov. And
Yes.
what will it be called? Jail update or what?
I don't know if I have the exact, it will be clear in reference that the Jail Services Department transition or something. I don't want to say the exact words because in case the staff, it's already ready to go. They just have to push a button, and so I don't want to misstate it, but it will be clear that it's regarding the Jail Services Department and the transition.
And we're looking at that cover page right now. Will that be under the heading county government?
I can't answer that right now. I don't know if Johnny or Lee are on. I don't know, but it will be a standalone, and so you will be able to see it. I just don't want to say specifically, other than it's going to be on this main page and easy to see when you log on.
Okay.
Chair, I can touch on that. Chair, I can touch on that just a little bit. So it'll be a microsite within our website so that it's easy identifiable for the public. So it's not buried within all the information. I know our website can sometimes be difficult for us to locate things. So this is going to be pulled out as it's kind of a standalone. It'll be on the front page somewhere. We just have to identify where that's going to be the best location for public to get to it quickly. And it will have transition in the name so that for the meantime, so that public can also identify that we're talking about the transition.
If you look over and you find it fast and down 4 or 5 notches, there is jail services. What is that?
That's
Is that
probably the
different?
current link to jail. That's probably the current link to jail services now, where members of the community can go on onto the website to look at inmate information. Staff, if you can scroll down a little bit. So these pictures right here, this will be in the service feature, the pictures at the bottom. So this is where it'll be located. So I'll have it standalone icon there.
So it will be one of the pictures down here.
Correct.
I'm sorry to be so detailed, but it is
No.
very easy to be unable to find what you're looking for on our webpage. So sorry about that. And also, if there are two indications of jail services, one under Find It Fast and one elsewhere, that's going to be confusing too. So we might want to either combine them or take care of getting rid of one or whatever so that it is perfectly clear. Okay, new business. Is there anything else on that? Okay,
That's
new
all.
business. Is there, the agenda shows none. Is that still the case? Okay, counselor reports.
That is correct.
Thank you. And counselor reports.
I don't have a report. I do have a question, because I thought we were going to deal with the letter to the governor on our support of a Southwest training. I haven't heard anything more. I also heard some talk of a resolution. We need to have a process to move this stuff along.
This will be on next Wednesday's agenda. It wasn't prepared for today yet.
So next Wednesday.
And next Wednesday, will that be both a letter and a resolution?
Yes, we can bring both. Lindsay will draft both the letter and the resolution, and we'll present it next Wednesday during council time.
So the letter was going to be following the release of the governor's budget. in
Lindsay, we
December.
can't hear you. You're really muffled, so we can't hear you at all.
It's unmuted on my end. Is it still not clear? Okay.
Yeah, I think you just need to be closer to your mic. We can hear you, but it's just not discernible.
The letter was going to be after the governor's budget in December.
Did you just state that the letter will be drafted after the budget, after the governor's budget in December? So council discussed this last week, and they would like to still have a draft letter and resolution now to consider setting something up even before that process. So we can have that ready by next Wednesday.
Resolution now. And we can talk about it later.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Lindsay. So we'll touch base after this, and we'll have something for council next week.
Any other counselor reports? And thank you for that, Counselor Medvici. Okay, work session requests. There's been a little bit of history behind Counselor Rylander becoming more familiar with electrification in Clark County, and that led to a suggestion for work session requests. So Counselor Rylander, would you explain the background and what is proposed?
Sure. Thank you, Chair. As we are all aware, the governor has recently indicated that the intent by mandate is to outlaw the sale of new fossil fuel vehicles starting in 2035. That led me to do some research, and I'm actually preparing a white paper to share with the council soon. And in the course of that, trying to understand the impact on switch to EVs, as well as the possible removal of natural gas for the use of power generation, intended reliance potentially more on wind, solar, and hydroelectric power in our region. I reached out and contacted Nancy Barnes with the Clark Public Utility District to ask a series of questions about capacity, capability, how they were planning for the future, et cetera, and had a very enlightening discussion with her on what's in place now, what they're looking at in the future, and how all of these things will be hopefully seamlessly woven together. And out of that, I asked whether she and or one or more of her people would potentially be available to do perhaps a 1 hour workshop for the council and the public on electrification plans for the future and the impact of EVs, et cetera. And she said they would love to do that. She shared a number of details. I actually have a full page of notes here that occurred just in that 20-minute conversation, 20, 30 minutes. And I would suggest, even though it probably doesn't happen this year because of other commitments for work sessions, that the council consider having a work session early in 2023 to learn more about what the impact of electrification changes, electric vehicles and so forth, will have on Clark County for the coming decades.
Thank you. And council, what is your wish? Does that sound like a good idea to have a work session of that on that topic in early 2023?
Well, for one, I've been certainly following the national effort to electrify aircraft and vertical takeoff, and the future of electrifying our airports and having at least short duration flights that are electrically powered, as well as automobiles and what's happening in that. As far as our electric grid and the topics that Councilor Rylander just brought up, I would really like to learn a lot more, and I think the public would benefit as well as it impacts us in Clark County. So I am very much in favor of hearing about these potential impacts and what the future plans are for PUC and perhaps others that would impact Southwest Washington. Some of this is regional grid and may go beyond PUC, but maybe not. So I'm a thumbs up. I would like to hear it. I look forward to the presentation.
I'm a thumbs up as well. And we've got unanimous there. And the reason is, in my case, because of its emphasis on Clark County. I think we're all trying to get a handle on it in Washington State, given the regulation that we know is forthcoming here. But what is its impact, and how will Clark County adapt is another important question. So I look forward to that, and thank you for bringing that forward, Councilor Rylander. Lindsay, here are any reports on policy issues when you can hopefully speak really close to the mic?
I don't have anything, but thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we have no executive sessions today. Is there anything for the good of the order? And hearing nothing, this meeting is adjourned.